Hello, everybody. Welcome to RockTree OG Talk series, and I am your host, CH Egan. RockTree Capital is hosting the RockTree OG Talk series, where RockTree brings together the greatest minds in Web3 today to bring you the most powerful real-time OG insights in the world. Today, our greatest minds focus on ZK Experts Talk. 欢迎来到 RockTree Capital 与 O Daily 共同举办的 RockTree OG Talk 系列圆桌论坛节目，我是主持人 CH Egan。每期的 OG Talk RockTree 都会聚集 Web3 领先的先锋人物，为您带来全球最有深度的 OG 观点以及各赛道顶尖企业的最新资讯。今天我们将会要讨论的主题是 ZK 的这个技术应用和前景。Okay, and here's a little intro on RockTree Capital. RockTree Capital is an international investment fund and merchant bank at the forefront of pioneering transactions and investments between North America and Greater China. RockTree's team focuses on early-stage investments in Web3 projects, as well as bringing support from its global ecosystem for top-tier Web3 projects. RockTree's network of investment funds, exchanges, media, and Web3 industry partners has allowed its investee projects to rapidly accelerate their growth in global markets. Omer Ozden, chairman of RockTree Capital, is also an international partner of Zen Fund. Prior to becoming an investor, he was a lawyer and was on the team that invented the VIE structure that opened China's internet industry to foreign investments, and has worked on early-stage venture capital investments and IPOs for companies like Baidu, Alibaba, New Oriental, NetEase, and Facebook. Omer has unique insights as the decacorn hunter, which is the 10 billion market cap hunter, and is renowned in the global crypto investment industry. He has successfully invested at early stages of some of today's most well-known Web3 companies, such as Chainlink, The Graph, DYDX, RAN, Phantom, Maple, Pocket Network, etc. With Omer's leadership, RockTree Capital has become a crypto-native bridge that links the very, very best of Western crypto markets and the very best of Eastern crypto market. The RockTree team in Beijing, Shanghai, Nanjing, Singapore, New York, and Toronto includes a full team of crypto native finance, capital market, digital marketing, and legal compliance experts that provide a truly global solution for blockchain projects. Excuse me. And for the next part, I will invite up Alyssa to have a go at the Chinese introduction.
Thank you for having me here. 石木资本是一家国际基金和商业银行，立足于北美以及大中华地区投资发展前沿，专注早期投资以及对领先的区块链和其他高科技公司的生态支持。石木资本与全球领先的基金、交易所、媒体等合作伙伴结成战略联盟，为顶级创业者及 Web 3.0项目提供高价值的战略投资支持和全球化的加速增长业务。石木资本的创始人欧阳墨博士也是真格基金的国际合伙人。在成为投资人之前，他是一名律师。他所在的团队发明了 VIE 架构，为中国互联网行业打开了外商投资的大门，并参与了网易、百度、阿里巴巴以及美国 Facebook 的早期发展。作为享誉加密投资领域的十角狩猎人，欧阳墨博士有着敏锐的市场嗅觉。相继在早期投资了一系列估值超过10亿乃至100亿美元的明星项目，其中包括 Chainlink, The Graph, DYDX, RAN, Phantom, Avi, Maple, Pocket Network 等一系列大热的明星项目。在欧阳墨博士的领导下，石木资本已经成为 Web 3.0 领域的头部基金，也成为了凝聚东西方加密货币市场的核心价值纽带。石木资本拥有系统性的加密金融、资本市场、数字营销和法律合规专家团队，团队成员分布在北京、上海、南京、新加坡、纽约和多伦多，为区块链项目提供真正全球化的解决方案，帮助石木资本参与投资项目连接到顶级的投资人、基金、媒体、加密货币交易所等资源端，为他们提供全方位的国际生态系统的支持。Thank you. Please go on.
Thank you so much. Okay, great. So let's begin. Today, I'm very honored to speak with our pristine guests, which include Omer Ozden, who is the chairman of RockTree Capital, We also have Matt Doty, who's the co-founder, CSO, and chief architect of Golden Gate, ZKEX. We have Balal Khan, co-founder and head of growth at ZKEX. Also, last but not least, Vince, co-founder of zkLink. Okay, gentlemen, to start, could you briefly take 1 minute to introduce yourself and your company? Let's start with Matt.
Hello. So my name is Matthew Doty. I am a co-founder and chief science officer and chief architect of ZKEX. I got my start in crypto in 2014 as the second research hire at Ethereum. I worked on the mining algorithm with Vitalik Buterin and I did the early estimates for the gas prices for the EVM.
Amazing. And we're going to pick your brain for exactly that. We'd love to hear more. Thank you so much. Balal, please go next for us.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Balal Khan. I'm head of growth and one of the co-founders of ZKEX. So our vision is to build an exchange which is going to be a true decentralized self-custodial version of a DEX. So we essentially can have a very long discussion about what a CEX is and also why they continue to dominate. But essentially, ZKEX has a mission, which is to combine functionality, user experience, and security into one package so that we abstract away all technology, eliminate all complexity, and make multi-chain trading so simple, easy, cheap, and fast, and completely hack-proof to such a point that the experience and the security is even better than the CX. So my role at ZKEX essentially is to sell this story to everyone and to ensure that our product team knows what users want and to connect those two together. So we're very excited about our product, and we can definitely dig into the details of our exchange in this session. Thanks.
Balal, thank you so much. For those of you who are joining us, we are going to reduce our speed just a little bit because we have some amazing translators helping us translate our thoughts to our amazing audience. So with that being said, Vince, maybe you can go next. Maybe we can slow it down a little bit to give some time to our translators. Thank you so much.
Thank you, CH. Hi, everyone. This is Vince from zkLink. I'm co-founder at zkLink, and we're the infrastructure provider where ZKEX is building on top. We are a multi-chain trading infrastructure secured with ZK snarks, empowering the next generation of decentralized trading products such as ZKEX. And there are also other solutions like EMMs, RWAs. zkLink builds a zkRob middleware that natively connects to various layer 1s and layer 2s and provides an array of high-level APIs. And developers can easily deploy trading products with high customizability and access to unified liquidity, aggregate assets, while their users can benefit from a seamless multi-chain trading experience. Thank you very much, and I'm very glad to be here today.
Vince, thank you for taking the time. Very much looking forward to hearing your thoughts coming up. Okay, Omer, please take the stage.
Thanks, CH. Really happy to be here, especially with all these guests and friends. So I'm Omer Ozden. 我是世木资本的创始人, 欧阳墨. And RockTree is an investment fund that invests early stage into Web3 projects. We started in TradFi. We did a lot of IPOs. We did a lot of co-investments with Gen Fund, Jenga Jijin in Beijing, into mobile e-commerce and other high growth companies. And then we started doing more and more crypto, Web3. And then we found that everything else was way too boring. All the smartest people in the world are moving into Web3, and we just love it more. And so we're 100% crypto native. We have been for at least 6-7 years now. And we're investing into early stage projects at the nexus of Greater China and North America. And we find a lot of the best projects there. And then we help our projects ramp up and scale up in the different international markets. 国际化。谢谢。
Omar, thank you so much for sharing. Very much also looking forward to picking your brain and hearing your thoughts coming up as well. Okay, with that being said, let's jump right into our questions. So my first question...
Hi, SCH. So I'm like
yes.
to cut you a few bit because I'm going to add interpretation on the first part of the introduction.
Okay, go ahead.
刚刚各位参会的嘉宾做了一个简单的自我介绍。第一位介绍的嘉宾呢是 Matt Doty， 他是来自于 ZKEX 的联合创始人，同时他也是 ZKEX 的首席科学家和首席架构师。在2014年的时候呢，他本人就参与了加密货币行业，同时他也是作为 V 神所邀请到去作为第2位负责以太链参与的一些挖矿直接的一些设计师和相当于挖矿的一些算法的工程师，同时由于他设计的新的一个挖矿算法，也直接驱使了整个挖矿的 gas fee 下降了多倍，这是他的一个个人介绍。那么第2位刚刚参会的嘉宾呢是 Balal， 他是来自于 ZKEX 的联合创始人，同时他也是负责整个企业的一个增长的直接的一个主管。他所介绍的ZKEX 是一家去中心化的交易平台，同时也能够为所有的开发者提供一些相关的去中心化的业务。它的目标呢，就是在平台上能够为所有的用户提供覆盖了良好的功能、良好的用户体验和完美的安全性的一系列的打包服务。同时，根据 ZKEX 现在的发展，他们也能够为用户在复杂的一个生态环境下提供简洁易用、高效、快速和极具性价比的解决方案。那么第3位刚刚发言的嘉宾是 Vince， 他是 zkLink 的联合创始人，同时他刚刚介绍的也就是 zkLink 作为一个基础架构服务，它能够为用户来提供 zkSNARKs 相关的一系列应用和解决方案。同时呢，它也作为一个中间件，能够连接不同的 L1 层和 L2 层的相关的一些应用和解决方案。同时，他们也提供各种相关的一些复杂式的 API， 能够为流动性能够提供一些定制化的用户，满足客户的需求。最后一位介绍的嘉宾也就是欧阳墨博士。欧阳墨博士介绍的实木资本作为一家关注于 Web 3.0 早期项目和早期领域投资的一个专业基金，曾经也是长期和真格基金进行了合作，联合投资于一些具有高成长性的企业，也关注于早期的一些 IPO。但是欧阳墨博士发现，世界上最聪明的人和一些创业者，他逐步都聚集到了 Web 3.0 领域，所以实木资本现在也是一家100%完全投资于并且关注于 Web 3.0 和加密货币行业的一家基金。现在真格基金在该领域已经深耕了6到7年，也同时看到了不少的高增长和未来会进行大规模盈利的一些良好的项目。这就是第一部分的一些嘉宾介绍，请继续。
谢谢。Okay, so let's jump into our question. Our first question is for Matt. Matt, we might have to add an extra O at the start of your OG. Of course, you co-founded ZKEX in 2021, an interchain infrastructure protocol that unites isolated Web3 protocols and platforms, advancing interoperability, programmability, and liquidity with a focus on ZK, which of course is zero knowledge, innovation that brings an estimated 1000x gas cost reduction. This can open up some exciting novel DeFi use cases, though just to go back a little bit, in 2014, you were one of the first 2 research hires by Vitalik Buterin himself for the Ethereum Foundation, which of course you mentioned. Can you tell us a little bit about that time and the zero knowledge innovations that it inspired you to bring to ZKEX? Eliza.
Matt， 第一个问题呢，就问您，我们可能要称呼您是 OG 中的 OG 了，因为您在2021年 联合创立了 ZKEX。ZKEX 是链间基础设施协议，将独立的 Web 3.0的协议和相关平台进行了连接和联合，能够提高相互的操作性、可编程性和流动性。同时呢，也着重于零知识创新。通过 ZKEX 的技术创新，预计可以将 Gas 的费用呢降低1000倍，同时也将开辟更多的新型的 DeFi 的一些用例。可以说这是激动人心的呀。不过，让我们把时间倒回到2014年，在加入 ZKEX 之前，您就是 Vision 以以太坊基金为名聘用的最前的2名研究人员之一。2015年的时候呢，您与 Vision 共同开发并且发布了以太坊的挖矿算法，同时您也是以太坊网络 Gas 费的定价者。可以说这都是一些了不起的成就啊，所以我想邀请您和我们分享一下您过去的一些部分的经历，包括像零知识创新是如何激励您的，又是如何影响到 ZKEX 的。感谢。
Matt, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. So a bit about my background at Ethereum. I worked on the mining algorithm with Vitalik and also the gas price estimation. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Gas costs, or in other words, computational efficiency, is a huge problem for zero knowledge.
非常感谢刚刚主持人的介绍。那么呢，我也想今天和大家简单的介绍一下我的一个背景情况。我之前呢，确实是 Vision 他所邀请来负责做以太坊算法设计的工程师之一。其实整个我们的这个定价，它本质上呢，它就是一个成本的问题，而且其实这个 gas 费这个成本，它也能够一定程度上决定我们 ZK 零知识创新的未来的长期的竞争力。
The zero knowledge revolution is going to come to a stop because verifying zero knowledge proofs is just way too expensive. So, to give a sort of comparison, the gas costs for running any zero knowledge proof are at least 10 to 20 times higher than sending USDC or buying an NFT. So that means that an NFT can cost $30 in gas fees, and so we're looking at 300 or perhaps even $1,000 for any zero knowledge proof in the next bull run.
那么我也想和大家来分享一下，像 ZK 零知识创新路上所遇到的一些技术上的挑战，以及什么样的问题呢，可能会导致零知识创新走到一个终点呢？我们都知道，其实要做零知识的这种传统的验证成本是相当高的。那我举一个简单例子，比方说我们现在要进行一个零知识的这样的一个验证，那它的成本可能比我们相对于传统的 USDC 和 NFT 它要高上10倍到20倍左右。所以我们现在思考的就是如何在这个成本方面能够让它下降300到1000倍。
So, as a result, the industry trend is towards first-class support for ZK. At GGX, we are creating interchain infrastructure with efficient zero-knowledge verification on the EVM. And that means that your EVM-based zero-knowledge programs that you write with CIRCOM will be 1,000x faster, and as a result, 1,000x cheaper on GGX.
我们在 ZKEX 的目标和作为，也就是要去首先进行大力的对零知识创新方面的一个支持，同时我们要考虑到如何将它的效率提高以及成本降低。所以呢，我们就做了一个 EVM 的一个创新。通过这种操作的话，我们就目的是将它整个 gas fee 能够下降最多到1000倍左右。
At GGX, we support verifying Groth 16, Plonky 2, and Nova for recursive zero-knowledge proofs. And we're looking at Cairo, Alio, and all of the emerging standards that are coming out of the industry as we see a Cambrian explosion.
因为我们是一个跨链和多链的平台，所以我们在 ZKEX 也就是去验证了，包括像 Pump、还有像我们的递归、零知识以及 Alio、Balal 做相关的技术的融合，能够实现 gas fee 超过1000倍的一个下降。
And yeah, so back to you, CH.
Matt, thank you so much for those insights. Omar, what do you have to say about GGX?
那么 Omar，您对 GGX 有什么想要说的？请。
Yeah, so I think what Matt said is really, really important for the audience to understand. When we at RockTree invest, we're looking for the cutting edge deep tech technology that is in the United States, that's in Europe, that's in China, that's in other places. And Matt, who was an OG at Ethereum and actually developed the gas fee pricing, is going to be the best person to understand this, even beyond my mind. I'm just an investor. I'm not a scientist like these other people on the panel, but he can fully comprehend what is in the future for ZK as it relates to the Ethereum ecosystem, which a lot of people are using.
首先呢，我只是想代表我们实木资本说几句。我们所关注的就是，不管是在美国、欧洲还是在中国，也就是说全世界范围内最具创新性、革新性的一些深度技术发展。刚刚主持人介绍了 Matt 是整个行业的 OG， 因为他也是以太坊的 OG。他之前所做的长期的铺垫的工作，也就是对整个 gas 费的一个定价和相关的一些测算，也可以说他是在这个领域最有发言权的一个人了。因为他和今天所有即将发言的嘉宾都是有科学背景的科研人员，我更多的是一个投资人，但是我能够感受到大家的出发点是一致的，也就是说未来要实现 ZK 零知识创新的发展，我们可能需要从以太坊的角度首先来做思考，因为以太坊现在是大家最常见、最常用的一个这样的平台工具，来聆听他们的声音。
So when RockTree invests, we have multiple investment thesis, and one of them is not to go where the puck is, but to go where the puck is going, meaning the Bingcho, where the Bingcho will be in the future. So we're thinking about where Web3 will be 2 years, 3 years in the future. And so we're going to eventually have a bull run. And the gas fee pricing is going to be tested on Ethereum. And whatever the price is today, it's going to be much, much bigger. And so that's going to test the network. And so a lot of things that are built in ZK utilizing this old infrastructure is going to have challenges. And so that's why we invested into Golden Gate, GGX, because it has one of the features is it reduces the gas fees for ZK precompiles by 1000x. And I think that's going to be very valuable in the future of Web3. And it allows infrastructure, cross-chain infrastructure that is future-proof.
其实我也想在此和大家分享一下我们实木资本的一些投资理念。就像我们在打冰球的时候，我们关注的并非是这个球现在此时此刻它所在的一个具体的地点，我们更多的关注是这个球未来会滑动向哪个方向。这和我们投资 Web 3.0 领域的观点不谋而合。我们更多关注的就是在 Web 3.0 领域未来的2年甚至3年长期以后，整个行业的发展趋势会是在哪个方向？因为球它始终是在移动的过程之中。刚刚大家也听到过了，其实我们始终关注的就是这个 gas 费它的一个下降，以及它如何在不同的网络平台，包括在以太网中的一个测试的结果。我们知道，像 ZK 零知识创新，它将应用到不同的平台和不同的基础架构中。我们也希望看到它能够产生结果的这一天。之所以我们投资了 GGX 的特点之一啊，也就是我们现在已经看到了他们的 gas 费下降了1000倍。那么这对 Web 3.0 而言，它是一个很利好的消息。
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, Omar, my next question is for you. RockTree has become famous for finding and investing early stage into some of the infrastructure giants of today in DeFi and cross-chain like DYDX, the Graph. What industry direction are you seeing with ZK technology? How does it fit into RockTree's thesis? And of course, the combination of AI and ZK is also an emerging space. What do you think of this? And what challenges and opportunities will ZKML create?
那下个
Sure.
问题呢，刚好也是抛给 Omer 的，因为我们的石木资本它是以发现并且早期投资当今的 DeFi 和跨链项目而出名的。同时，您也关注了不少一些基础设施巨头，包括像 DYDX 的 Graph。您认为 ZK 技术的行业方向是什么？它与我们石木资本的投资哲学有哪一些契合之处？大家都知道，人工智能与 ZK 的结合也是一个新兴的方向。您对此呢有何见解？以及 ZKML 将带来哪一些新的机遇和挑战？请。
Thank you, CH. I think that, first of all, RockTree invests into infrastructure, DeFi, and cross-chain. And cross-chain usually encompasses DeFi and infrastructure at the nexus of the West and the East. And so two of the projects on today's chat are great examples of what we do. That's ZKEX from China and GGX from US and Europe. And then we've also invited a third project, which RockTree hasn't invested into because their expertise in ZK, which is zkLink. So thank you for also joining. And so these two projects we think are amongst the best in their local markets. And they also employ ZK technology with respect to cross-chain infrastructure. And in the case of ZKEX, DeFi as well. These for RockTree are the most important areas of technological development in terms of apps and infrastructure for Web3.
感谢这个提问。首先，我来补充一下，我们现在石木资本的投资重点呢，一是在基础设施，二是在 DeFi， 第三呢就是在跨链的应用上。同时，跨链应用呢，其实又回到我们之前所说的基础设施和 DeFi。同时，我们也关注中国和西方两大市场，在这里共同寻找一些投资机会。其实，今天我们的发言嘉宾中有两个就是直接和我所讲述的投资方向相关的。第一个就是我们中国市场的 ZKEX。第二个呢，就是欧美市场的 GGX， 他们可以说是本地市场中表现最好的同类竞争者了。当然，我们今天所邀请的第三位发言嘉宾 zkLink 呢，它也是这个领域的一个专业企业了。那么，我们希望不管是在基础设施、跨链，还是在我们的具体的 DeFi 应用中，都能够看到这几家企业的一个长足的发展。
The first article I wrote in China that talked a little bit about ZK was around 2018, 2019. It was actually one of RockTree's venture partners, Tianjia, who also was with Gen Fund as well, to teach me about this. And so this was super early on. And at that time, ZK made a lot of promises, but it was still very early. But in 2023, actually, we can start to see the real applications of ZK.
其实在中国，我早在2018到19年左右呢，就写过一篇关于 ZK 零知识创新相关的一篇文章了。当时是和真格基金的添加一块儿来进行的这个联合作者来进行早期的探索。我们其实在早期的时候已经发现了零知识的一些巨大的应用潜力。不过，直到2023年，就今年的时候，我们才看到一些真正的应用。
So you can see in terms of cross-chain and layer one infrastructure for cross-chain, everybody understands the applications of ZK and in terms of its scaling solution, and also some of the challenges, for example, that Matt talked about. In the case of DeFi, we think that there's significant application here. ZKEX is a perfect example of that. And one of the reasons we invested into ZKEX is because of our experience with DYDX, which many people may know was one of the best performing DeFi projects in 2021. And I would say the best performing DEX in Web3.
我们其实现在也看到了不少在跨链和 L1 层基础设施的一些具体的应用，同时呢，我们其实也看到了 ZK 这些应用啊，在扩展性方面的巨大的潜力。刚刚 Matt 他说到了我们未来发展的一些挑战吧，我们也想在这里和大家分享一下，为什么今年我们今天邀请到了 ZKEX 过来跟我们来进行分享。它其实让我看到了我们早期投资 DYDX 身上的一些共性。据我们其实现在公认的观点，就是 DYDX 它是2021年最佳的一个 DeFi 应用，同时也是2021年最佳的一个 DEX 的一个代表。我们其实在 ZKEX 上面也看到类似的一个方向。
And when I mean DEX, I mean DEX that has a centralized experience. I don't mean like AMMs and so forth. And so what we found with DYDX is it originally started on Ethereum, but the speed was too slow, the gas pricing was too high, and then it moved to layer 2 solution. However, what I want to say to the audience is super important. Not all layer 2 solutions are necessarily going to work. And that's because it's already on top of a layer 1 that's from a long time ago, that isn't ready for all the technical innovation that's coming to Web3. So the layer 2 solution that DYDX was using wasn't sufficient enough. It may have reduced some of the costs and some of the speed, but didn't account for many of the other issues we have in the future. For example, like a decentralized sequencer. For example, in the future, now that ZK technology is coming on. So what I want to leave the audience with is that it's not just the layer 1 that can be a challenge for future proofing. It's a lot of the layer 2s. And I'm not saying all of the layer 2s, but some of the layer 2s are going to also have the types of difficulties that Matt talked about in terms of gas fee pricing, in terms of latency, and being able to layer on all these new technologies that are coming on. The layer 2s might not be able to solve it either in the future. So that's really important with respect to our investment decision into both GGX and also into ZKEX as well.
其实刚刚我们在说 DEX 的时候呢，我更多的不是说传统的，我更多的其实也想去描述一些中心化的这样的一些交易所，而不完全是一些去中心化的。我们刚刚又说到了 DYDX， 它其实一开始也是诞生于以太网。但是如 Matt 所言，我们要考虑到这当时以太网这个速度太慢了，同时它的 gas 费也太高了，所以现在有很多这样的 L2 层的应用就逐步的出台成为了解决方案。但是我们要强调的一点就是，虽然说 L2 是在 L1 层上所进行革新和一些新的技术方案，但不意味着所有的 L2 方案它都能够真正的落地，也不意味着所有的 L2 的这些方案平台都能够真正的产生一些应用。我们现在看到的就是即使在 L2 上面带来了很多新的应用，一个成本问题和一个速度问题，它仍然还会有些问题，甚至在 L2 上还有一些中心化的这样的一些时延尚未解决。我们今天看到了 L1 有很多挑战，包括像在验证方面的一些问题， L2 同时也面临了诸多的一些相关的挑战和问题。刚刚我们有反复的强调像 gas 费，还有像一些速率和一些时延，所以我们今天希望 ZK 零知识创新能够部分解决现在 L2 尚未能完全解决的问题。
So you could see DYDX started with Ethereum, then moved to Starkware, and then moved to Cosmos, and now has V4, its own chain to deal with some of the types of issues that I said. And you can see the evolution, but let's think about these issues here, and let's make sure we future-proof some of these issues that are coming up 3-4 years later. That's the way RockTree is thinking. And so the last part of your question, CH, is related to ML. And so, yes, we are investing into ML projects on Web3 We've been doing due diligence on many, and we have some that are going to be coming out in the future. And this is really exciting because ML is not a Web3 use case, but it's a Web2 use case that is so big, especially in America, that all the enterprises using it, a lot of retail's using it, people who don't even know anything about crypto or Web3 are using it. However, when you add Web3 technology to it, including ZK, it allows for the type of scaling that ML requires with respect to computational needs and other applications. So we are very, very, very excited about the intersection of Web3, ZK, Web3 with ZK technology, and also the sort of hype cycle, all the money, all the technology that's being developed in the ML environment, and how that converges.
我们刚刚其实也跟大家简单介绍一下 DYDX 的整个演变路径和过程。它一开始源起于以太坊，后来呢又采用了 ZK Stark 的技术，后来呢又使用了 Cosmos， 现在他们在研发自己的一些单链。我们其实看到了这样的一个企业，这样的平台的一个演变过程，就好比它始于点 A， 但是它要关注未来的点 B。可能这是一个未来3到4年的一个演进的过程，这也是我们作为一家投资公司所关注一家企业它未来技术的一个严格的方向。那么最后一个问题呢，就是关于您刚刚问了机器学习 ML 的一个内容啊，我们现在确实实木资本也在去看一些 ML 相关的一些项目。现在部分的项目还在竞调的过程之中，我也相信这是未来的一个发展方向。我们知道，其实在美国有很多零售业的一些用户，他们就已经在大量使用了这种 ML 的技术了。他们可能根本就不关注什么叫加密货币，但他们会非常多的去应用 ML 的技术，因为 ML 它本来就是根据 Web 2.0 时代，而非 Web 3.0 时代的一个产物。但是我们刚刚也说到了，在 Web 3.0 时代，我们将它纳入到 ML 的技术中，能够更好、更快的实现它的一个扩展性，能够更好的去支撑它的一个海量的计算能力。所以现在我对 ML 的一个投资前景是非常看好的，我觉得这是一个激动人心的领域。我更关注的就是未来如何去融合 Web 3.0 的应用、ZK 的技术和 ML 的一些海量计算的能力。我希望能看到未来的一些火花。
Fantastic. Omar, thank you so much for those detailed response. We will come back to you shortly. My next question is for Balal. Of course, zkex.com is offering bridgeless multi-chain trading secured with zero knowledge. ZKEX is a trustless and self-custodial order book DEX with C5 performance. What is ZK from your perspective? What does it allow your DEX to do that others are missing? And what's at the core of ZK innovation that makes your DEX safe, secure, and transparent? And finally, how is it being applied?
接下来一个问题呢是问 Balal 的 ZKEX.com 呢现在是提供一些零知识保护的无桥多链的交易，同时这是一个具有 C5 性能的无需信任的 trustless 且自我托管的订单铺的 DEX。那么想问一下您，从您的角度来看 ZK 到底意味着什么，以及使用 ZK 技术又能够让 ZKEX 完成哪一些其他的 DEX 所不具备的功能，让您的 DEX 看起来它更安全可靠透明的一个 ZK 核心创新又在哪里呢？最后一个问题啊，在 ZKEX 中 ZK 技术该如何应用在更多的交易场景中？
Balal, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I think I would like to answer that question, the first question, with an analogy. So imagine that you are going around town and you need to prove your identity, whether it's your name, your date of birth, or maybe your address. And you have to carry out a big box of papers everywhere to prove all this information, because you've got to have your birth certificate, need a residency, all these things with you. But instead, what we do is we actually essentially have an ID card. So the first analogy I want to tell people about is about the idea of what a proof is. A proof is essentially a small version of a calculate of something that's very complicated. So the word ZK proof is a very famous word. So we break that in two. The first part of a ZK proof is a succinct small version of a computated kind of a fact or data. So instead of carrying out all these papers, I essentially have this little card. The problem is with that card, even if I was to lose it, my data is still on there, my name and date of birth. So there's no privacy. So that first part of that word ZK proof is the ZK bit, which is the privacy. This is where I could shield the data on that card. And only when someone asks me, are you over 18? Yes or no. I don't need to tell them my date of birth. Do you live in this country? Yes or no. So that's where ZK comes in, and it allows us to make some very complicated, extremely small, have equivalent proof that is very, very small, that makes it efficient and easy to store. And the second part is actually the privacy element, which hides all the data itself, which is in my papers. Nobody needs to see that, but essentially it's completely trusted. So this calculation, actually Matt talked about the calculation element. It's extremely expensive, and I'm actually delighted that there is a solution here where we can actually produce these proofs, these ZK proofs, very efficiently and very fast. Now, another twist on it is the ZK rollup word, where essentially we are able to bundle all these proofs up into a rollup and make it very, very efficient and submit that to the blockchain. So that's what a ZK proof allows us to do, make them small and very private.
好的，那我首先来回答你的部分的问题。我想用一个简单的比喻来回答，这样让大家更好的了解。比方说，在以前呢，我们可能需要去证明自己的身份和证明自己是谁的话，到当地社区的警察局，我们是要带一大盒子的东西的。这大盒子东西可能有我们的这个驾照，或者是我们的居住证明，有我们的房产证明，甚至有地契。那可以说，大家要证明自己是谁，是哪个国家的人，它相当的复杂。那么其实到了现代社会，大家要去证明自己是谁，是完全不需要带一个大包一个大盒子来证明自己的身份、自己的国别和自己的年龄的。可能现在我们最简单的方式就是拿出一张身份证，就可以非常简单的证明了自己的身份、年龄、性别和国别了，已经不需要出示一大堆的写字文件和一些盖章件来跟对方阐述我的每一个身份的特点。我们知道，其实说到 ZK 的话，我们更多的关注的就是 ZK Snark， 这是一种简洁化的非交互式的零知识的证明技术。这种证明技术的好处就是在于它不需要去过度的透露自己的一些加密的身份和一些加密的信息即可。比我们现在可能大家所关注的一点就是你要去做这种所谓的 ZK proof 证明背后的计算费用它相当的高，但是其实我们最后能够拿出来的整个结果和方法它更加的便捷。为了去更好的降低这样的一个计算费用的问题呢，其实我们现在又在推所谓的 ZK Rollup 这样的一个打包的技术。在 ZK Rollup 技术中呢，我们可以将所有的这些计算进行核心的打包，能够将所有的这种信息块进行一些细块的一些具体的集中的测算，这样子能够一定程度的去降低整个的一个计算的成本。
Great. So the second part of the question was, what does ZK proofs allow us to do? ZKEX that other people might be missing out on? And the answer is very simple. Essentially, every other solution out there, every DEX or even every CEX out there is a huge compromise. So we don't want anyone to compromise anymore when it comes to trading crypto. We are essentially giving people a reason to stop using CEXs, and also we give them a much easier to use DEX. Let me give you another analogy. Imagine you go to the town square and you have some apples in your hand and you want to buy some pears. You're going to do a swap. So you go to one person and he has a black box and he says, yes, I can exchange your apples. And you give him your apple and he puts your apple into the box. And you say, can I have my pears? He will say, no, I'll keep your pears for you and I'll keep your apple. But don't worry, trust me, everything is yours. It's safe. It's completely fine. That is a CEX. And actually, when you think about it, it's actually quite ridiculous that that's how we're trading at the moment. Instead, what we're proposing is you go to the town square with your glass box and inside is the apple, and you find another trader who has another glass box that only they have the key for and that has pears inside, and you can see what the other person has. I can see what I have. We can control only our own boxes, but we can do the exchange in a very open, transparent way, but also very, very secure. No one can steal our box. No one can steal the fruit inside it. So that's the analogy I want people to give of how we want our people to trade in a natural way, swap the things we want to swap, and then we go our separate ways with our assets, with our fruit that we purchase. So essentially, ZKEX is the industry's first multi-chain order book DEX that is a true decentralized self-custodial CEX equivalent. So it's a natural way to trade while you keep all your assets with you. And the killer feature I think people would actually love is when it comes to decentralized trading, they essentially need to worry about the technology. And nobody really cares about technology when it comes to trading. People just want to buy tokens. So what we allow people to do is they can keep the assets on their favorite blockchain or roll-up, but they can use the assets to buy and sell tokens from any other roll-up or blockchain. So for example, if you have money on, say, Polygon, you can buy an ETH token, or you can buy, say, an Avalanche token, or vice versa. If you love zkSync, keep your money there and buy and sell from any other roll-up or any other chain. And we add on a very beautiful user experience and lots of rich features that both retail people, simple people just doing buying and selling small quantities would love. So for them, we have a very simple convert tool. We have a very simple spot tool. But if you are a professional, then we have very advanced derivatives. And we also have a unified account, which allows the pro traders to manage their risks and their capital very, very efficiently.
同时，你刚刚还问了我一个问题，就是说我们 ZKEX 对比其他的 DEX 和 ZKEX 的话，和 CEX 的话有什么样的一个优势啊？我可以说，其他的相关的一些 CEX 和 DEX， 他们更多的是在很大程度上做了一些用户体验和一些产品方面的妥协，但是对于 ZKEX 来说，我们是绝对不会做这样相关的妥协的。同样，我也是想跟大家举一个非常简单的例子来理解我们现在做什么。好比现在A， 我要去集市上去买一些水果，现在我本人呢手上是有一些苹果的，我希望拿着我这个苹果到集市上找一个商家来换他的梨子，这就是一种天然的交换模式。现在我走到集市上看到了一个人，他拿了一个黑盒子，我不知道里面有什么，他说他有梨子，那我相信了他。现在我把苹果给到他了，他把苹果放到了他的黑盒子里，但是他却不愿意给我这个梨子。他跟我这么说的，你的苹果呢，我给你保留，这个梨子呢，我自己也拿着，但你放心啊，我是不会骗你的，这两个水果呢，都是我保护。可能大家听上去非常的觉得滑稽，为什么会有这样的一个人？但实际上，现在我们在做大量交易的时候，我们所谓的 CEX 就是做这种类似的一个交易。我们现在想做的就是改良这样的交易。我们现在的模式是这样。我还是去集市中去拿着我的苹果，我希望去交换梨子，但现在我拿的是一个透明的盒子，这个透明的盒子只有一把钥匙是我拿着的，只有我能够打开。同时我也找了另外一个商家，他抱着一个透明的盒子，盒子里是梨子，我能看见，他也拿了一个盒子，只有他自己能够打开。因此在这样完全透明和一个自然交换的条件下，我们能够真正实现一次互信、开放和透明的交换，这就是现在我们 ZKEX 要做和要实现的一个交易的目标。也就是说，所有的用户他可以自己用非常自然的方式进行交易，并且由自己来管理自己的资产，而不完全托管于一个黑盒子。因为我们现在所关注的要点就是是经营一个多链，并且实现的是一个自然可审计的交易模式。我们作为一家去中心化的平台，我们其实发现啊，很多用户真正在购买代币的时候，他们其实在购买的那块儿并不会担心你这个平台用的是什么技术，他们所关心的就只要我能够进行我自己资产的一个保护，我可以使用 roll up 技术，也可以使用其他的技术。因此在我们平台中，我们既可以帮助这些用户，不管是去购买以太币也好，还是去购买像 Polygon 上的一些产品也好，作为不同类型的一些代币，我们能够为他们提供一些非常简单好用的一些转换工具，来帮助一些个人用户来进行购买和管理。对于一些专业用户的话，我们能够为他们提供统一和定制化的一些风险管理模式和诸多工具，帮他们实现资产的管理和安全。
Brilliant. And I think the last part of the question that was asked was really about the core of the zero knowledge innovation that makes ZKEX much more safer, much more secure, much easier to use and more transparent. What exactly are we doing? And the answer here, again, I can tell with a story. However, the summary of this, the quick summary of this question, the answer is that we are building essentially a CEX type product, but with complete peace of mind that your assets are with you at all times, every single time. And also when you're trading across chains, you will not lose your money. So what people have to understand is when you're with a CEX, your money is with them. Essentially, you've lost your money. It's with somebody else. And when you trade in other DEXs, your money is stuck on a particular chain or on a particular rollup. And what we're doing is we're breaking the shackles. We're breaking these cages of all that liquidity across all these different chains and opening up to everyone. So people essentially are able to have peace of mind and they have ease of use, and they can trade. They can trade the way they want to trade. And that's really important because it allows people to breathe and actually be comfortable to function the way they want to do, rather than being forced to act a certain way. And the very important thing that we're building, which is quite unique, is a very transparent order book DEX without any limits, but it's extremely secure. And the question is, why build an order book DEX? Because people may ask the question. There's already some excellent DEXs, such as, say, Uniswap and other AMMs, where essentially, to give an analogy of what an AMM is, I gave the example of what an order book was before with the transparent box. What an AMM is essentially that all the traders come into the market square and they put all the apples and all their pears into big piles on the ground. So we have like essentially a big pile of fruit. And I come as a trader and I say, I have 1 apple. Can I have 3 pears, please? And then the trader must say, yes, no problem. And in the middle of the trade, they'll give me 2 pears. And I will say, hold on. We made a deal for 3, and now you're giving me 2. And he'll say, sorry, that's how it is right now. So that's what happens on AMM. So AMMs have a lot of problems, essentially. They have slippage, they have impermanent loss for liquidity providers. They essentially are a honeypot because all that fruit sitting on the floor at nighttime, a thief may come in and steal all that fruit and run away. So it's a huge problem. DEXs, AMM DEXs get rugged every single day. You're not able to algorithmic trade on an AMM very easily. It's almost impossible. Limit orders are, some DEXs have limit orders, but they're not true limit orders. They're only just in name because they're more like watching for a condition to turn on. So there's no kind of a program. You can't have a strategy when it comes to trading on an AMM. And the big problem is that AMMs essentially first to supply liquidity and then traders can trade. And with order books, it's actually the natural way, bartering person to person. That's how traders have all been done for thousands of years. So this is what we're bringing to this experience centralized world. With an order book, you trade first, and by default, when you are making a market order, you're bringing liquidity. They become liquidity providers because they're making an order. So it's better, much better in some cases for liquidity provisioners as well. So that's a very quick summary of the innovation that we're bringing to this market.
刚刚您还问了我最后一个问题啊，也就是在 ZKEX 我们的核心创新是什么？如何能帮助我们和其他的一些企业能够脱颖而出呢？那么其实在 ZKEX 我们最关注的就是首先要用户是好用的，第二是透明的，第三呢是绝对的安全。我们其实刚刚已经说到过了，我们的始终的一个理念就是帮助这些用户和交易者，他始终自己能够管理这些资产。这些资产不是说他在交易的过程中被卡到了其他的某一个交易的链上，而是他始终是为自己所有的。我们之前说到了不同的，现在既然市场上已经有很多成熟的一些 DEX 了，我们能够和他们相比的优势就在于，很大部分绝大多数的 DEX他们在交易的过程中会产生很多相关的一些磨损和损失，因为这些资产和一些流动性都会卡到了某一条链上，就不管大家用的是 roll up 还是说其他的技术，都有这样的一个问题。其实在我们 ZKEX 我们能提供给客户的可以说是2大保证吧。第一个就是绝对的一个安全，第二个呢就是绝对的一个安心。我们从来不会去要求这些用户你非要把资产托管给某一方，托管给某一些链，我们全部的过程都是透明的，而且是可以审计的。为什么我要说可以审计和透明这个概念？这就好比又回到了刚刚我所给大家举的一个例子，比方说我们无论是2方也好还是多方也好，现在到城里的集市上去 购买苹果，或者是说用苹果来交换梨子。很多现在既有的一些 DEX 做法，包括像 AML 和 Uniswap， 他们的做法就是给你一个这样的黑盒子，很多这样的交易方都把所有的东西塞到这个黑盒子里，大家看不清楚这里面有多少苹果，也看不清楚有多少梨子。哪怕他们不是一个黑盒子，也就是在你的眼前会有一个这样的水果堆，谁有几个苹果，而且哪几个苹果是你放进去的，哪几个梨子是他人看到去的，我们是分不清楚的。等你需要去取出来你的资产的时候，可能就是拿了几个和你不一样的苹果和梨子，那么在取的过程中就会产生一些这样的流动性的损失和一些其他的一些磨损。但在我们这里，我们是完全透明的，遵循的是一种人类几千年来所一直用的以物换物的这样的一个商业模式，能够以这种默认的方式来进行透明的一个资产管理，让资产一直存在于用户的手中。
Balal, thank you so much for that analogy and your explanation. I already see in the chats everybody's blown away, and it's actually very, very clear. People are definitely catching on by what you mean, so thank you so much. Okay, my next question is for Vince. zkLink can be thought of as a trading-focused, interoperable, multi-chain layer 2 network secured by zero-knowledge technology. What properties of ZK allowed all this innovation to occur for you? What does this mean for DeFi? And finally, how does zkLink think about the future of ZK in general?
非常感谢刚刚 Balal 的一个分享啊，因为您的这样的一个简单的比喻，可以让我们线上的很多听众听得更加的好吸收，而且他们也觉得非常认可您。那么下一个问题呢，就是问 Vince 的。zkLink 被认为是一个以交易为中心、可互操作、由零知识技术保障的多链 L2 网络，所以想问您 zkLink 的哪一些特性能够 ZK 的哪一些特性能够让所有的创新都能够应用在 zkLink 上，而且这对 DeFi 又意味着有什么样的未来的发展？您又是怎么样看待 ZK 的未来的？
Thank you for your question. So there are many amazing properties of ZK technology, enabling many different kinds of use cases and unlocking potentials of different blockchain infras and products, and bringing the industry to the next step. In the case of zkLink implementation, the most important properties of ZK we have leveraged are scalability, security, and multi-chain interoperability. And what does this mean for DeFi? To answer this question, I'd like to firstly talk a little bit about the promise that DeFi has made. So DeFi is not meant to be a niche market for crypto native users only. Decentralized finance should be a public good for users who are not familiar with crypto technology and have very little means and access to traditional financial services as well. And to envision and enable that promise, DeFi platforms and products have to lower the entry barrier for end users and the newcomers, and the user experience needs to be intuitive and as easy as a Web2 application. And at the same time, it should never raise any concern of user fund security, no matter what happens. I think Balal has given a very good analogy and has done a lot of explanation on this as well. In the case of zkLink, as an infrastructure provider for super dApps, that for that purpose, our solution is to enable and empower products and services that can truly deliver seamless multi-chain user experience, and that with the help of ZK technology, and to enable mass adoption of decentralized finance, to empower products of that kind, and so that in the end, our family, our friends, and our neighbors will want to use this type of products, and they will know and learn themselves easily how to use them. To dive a little bit deeper into how we achieve that, I'd like to address to the three major problems that we still have currently in the DeFi landscape. The first problem is liquidity. In crypto trading, liquidity is most important for user experience. Of course, because it's the price always matters, and we enhance that. So we enhance liquidity, aggregate through unifying liquidities among different ecosystems. Currently, we are integrated with 12 blockchains and layer 2 networks, and we continue to integrate more. Of course, we will choose to be very careful with who to integrate with. So we have to take into consideration the level of liquidity, the amount of liquidity available, as well as the security, the decentralization, the blockchain trilemma. This is a problem this is the factors that we have to take into account when we choose which ecosystem to integrate. But most importantly, we are still Ethereum centric because Ethereum has proven itself to be the most important layer 1, and the layer 2s are all Ethereum centric. So these different rollups and other out-layer EVM on top of layer 1 chains form the many fragmented liquidity silos. And this, unfortunately, when you do trades on with decentralized platforms built on top of each these ecosystems, it is difficult for you to navigate. And at the same time, liquidity is fragmented. And to aggregate liquidity, there are two options. Either you use a bridge, but when it comes to bridge, I think all users that have had experience with bridge might agree with me that this is still a very fragile component of the whole crypto ecosystem. And it is risky, unpredictable, and hard to use, and also expensive to use. And the second solution is solutions like us who can enable native multi-chain interoperability, cross-interoperability, cross-rollup interoperability by unifying the liquidity, by pooling the assets liquidity together. And how we do this? We built and we deploy zero-knowledge contracts on different ecosystems and unify liquidity and aggregate assets through zero-knowledge technology. So
Vince, before you continue, we'll have our translator just translate a little bit of your thoughts, and then we'll continue.
Okay,
thank you.
Okay. Please go ahead. Thank you for reminding.
非常感谢您的刚刚这个问题。那么呢，我就想代表 zkLink 来回答一下。其实，在 zkLink 的话，我们关注的有几个基本的点。第一个呢，就是扩展性；第二个呢，就是用户的安全性；第三个呢，就是我们的互操作性。因为您刚刚讲到，我们 zkLink 其实未来的发展对这样的 DeFi 有个什么样的一个推动作用。我一直个人觉得呀 ，DeFi 它是有巨量的潜力带我们去探索的。同时 ，DeFi 它也不像大家所看的，它只是我们加密货币行业的专业人士所关注的一个这样的泥基市场。反而我认为 DeFi 它的未来，它应该作为一种公共产品和公共服务，为大量的普通人能够真正的去应用。它才是，而且甚至是一些使用传统业务的行业者，他应该都能用到我们这样的一个 DeFi 的产品。DeFi 作为一个去中心化的产品，它的好处是在于，可以说它是更安全的，同时它能够为我们的用户消除很多个人的一些这样的疑虑。我认为，甚至是我们身边的一些家人、朋友、邻居，未来都能够大规模的能够运用这些 DeFi。刚刚其实 Balal 他也给我们做了很多这样的简单的一些比喻，我觉得其实也响应了我对 zkLink 的一些呼吁吧。因为我们作为一个基础设施架构，能够为用户提供的就是一些更好的解决方案、产品、服务。我也希望这些解决方案、产品和服务呢，它能够进行一个无缝的链接，让 DeFi 能够在大范围内能够广泛的一些应用。当然现在我也看到了未来的发展可能会有3个问题。第一个问题就是我们这样的交易中的一个流动性。我们知道可能这个跟一些 gas 费的价格相关，但是我们现在 zkLink 更多的是做相关的这些流动性的一些集合和一些整合。现在我们总共呢就整合了12个相关的这些网络。当然我们在选择这些网络整合的过程中，要思考的这些它们流动性的一些量、它们的安全性、他们的一些去中心化的能力和去中心化的一些水平。现在大部分我们还是以以太网为 L1 层的一个中心来选择这些相关的一些网络。因为现在我们也会在考虑，在我们现在所观察到的很多这样的去中心化的应用，尤其是一些 liquidity 这样一些流量呢，它本身是非常的分裂的。那么在分裂的一个状态中，可能我们就需要去做一些这样的桥接。哪怕现在大家用户的感受就是做完了桥接之后，还会有很多因为桥接它本身又会带来一些新的风险，同时桥接的成本也很高，桥接还会带来的一些用户使用的不便捷和一些使用方面的一些障碍等等，这些也是我们未来需要解决的一些相关的一些问题。好，我们先回答到第一部分，您再继续。
Okay, I'll continue to the second problem that we're trying to solve here. The second major problem is the navigation among these different ecosystems. There are increasing number of layer 1 blockchains and layer 2 rollups, especially with the emerging layer 2 rollups. With the recent development that I have seen with OP stack and the ZK stack, there's going to be hundreds, even thousands of rollups in near future in blockchain in total. And as a user, it will be difficult to choose which rollup, which product. And for a user that is not so familiar with crypto technology, crypto industry, they shouldn't, by theory, they shouldn't need to worry about which chains they're using and whether it's safe or not, and what are the characteristics of this chain. They just need to focus on the product and the user experience. So in our implementation use case, we want to abstract this step for users so they don't need to know which underlying blockchains they're using. So ideally, they just need to focus on the product. So the user-facing product needs to be amazing, and while the underlying infra has to be reliable, has to be robust, has to be secure. That is also the reason why we have utilized the zero-knowledge proof to build such an infra. It's because the zero-knowledge proof has the amazing property of security, right? So we use validity proof to prove all the transactions is done properly and correctly, and is proved by zero-knowledge proofs. And users can navigate easily through different ecosystems without having to know each chain they're actually using, without having to install beforehand the wallet for that dedicated chain, or without have to change one chain to another frequently. They just need to stay on the product from the front-end user interface on one platform, at one stop. They can navigate through hundreds of chains, hundreds of rollups. And this is also the same topic that Paradigm has recently mentioned. The Paradigm is the leading VC also another very successful VC in the field. They have recently mentioned about the idea of user intent-centric products and a solution. I think zkLink in this sense, and also ZKEX on top of zkLink, is building a product that can deliver intent-centric user experience.
那么第二点就是我们需要帮助用户在不同的一些生态和不同的系统之间实现更好的一些使用体验上的一些提升，帮助用户更好的在不同的系统之间呢能够进行导航。大家现在看到了有很多 L1 层的应用，那么 L2 层 Rollup 的应用呢也就更多了。不管是用的 Op Stack 还是 ZK Stack 的选择可以说是相当多，在市场上现在成熟的产品和应用可能都超过数千了。那么其实我们希望做的就是不应该让用户去在选择产品的时候遇到各种困难，也不应该让用户去思考，哪个产品是否安全，哪个产品呢？我们在选择不同产品之间，是不是要在转链的过程中要担心各种钱包的问题？我觉得用户本身他并不是加密专家，他应该关注的就是他们有良好的一个体验，而不是去担忧它背后这些基础设施架构的问题。我们要给客户带来就是一些可靠的、安全的和优质的产品，因为零知识 ZK 作为一个基础设施架构，它本质上就是帮助客户进行了一定程度的筛选。我们也希望能够简化客户的一些在选择方面的一些繁琐的过程。前不久其实我当时也听了 Paradigm， 他们是另外一家加密货币行业的 VC， 他们其实也持类似的一个观点吧，就是我们始终是要以用户为中心，并且以使用目的为中心，能够选择更好的一些应用，这也是我们 zkLink 所认可的一点。
All right, Vince, thank you so much for those insights. My next question is for Matt, Balal, and Vince. So ZK has been positioned as a scalable solution for blockchains. Is this the right way to think about it? Like what attributes of ZK make it a good fit for something like this? Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so ZK is short for ZK snarks, which stands for zero knowledge succinct non-interactive arguments of knowledge. So it's the succinct part of ZK snarks, which means that off-chain computation can be verified very quickly on chain, and that allows us to move computation off chain. But zero knowledge also means not just that we can move computation off chain, but also that users can have privacy in their inputs to these computations.
好的，那我想问一下三位一个问题，可以简单的回答。我想问一下 Matt、Balal 和 Vince，ZK 的定位呢是区块链可拓展性的一个解决方案。那么这种观点是否认可？以及 ZK 的哪些属性能够解决这些扩展性的问题？第一个回答呢来自于 Matt。Matt 的回答如下：首先 ，ZK 它其实是 ZK Snark 的一个简称。那么 ZK Snark 的全称呢，就是零知识简洁化非交互性的一个证明技术。它最快的一个应用就是将我们线下的一些计算可以在线上进行验证，而且它的验证过程呢是非常的快，非常的高效。所以它就本质上包含了两点：第一，我们的计算验证呢可以线上化；第二点，它可以更好的保护一些用户的隐私，用户可以不去提供一些他不愿意提供的一些繁复的一些信息。
Matt, thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, at GGX, we are enabling builders to do these off-chain computations and have them verified on-chain in a way that is future-proof, in a way that they know that the gas costs will not be excessive, and their computations can be efficiently verified.
所以呢，在 GGX 我们具体的一个实践和操作，就是帮助所有的这些开发人员和一些计算人员，将他们线下的一些算力在线上能够进行验证。这就意味着这种一是可验证的，第二也就极大程度了降低了一个 gas 的费用，能够帮助这些开发人员能够进行更好的成本控制。
Okay, Matt, thank you so much for that. Next, we'll go with Balal.
Thank you. So I think this is a very interesting question. And a great analogy to make is look at the bigger technology world. And whenever you make something smaller, you unlock innovation. So we've seen this with computers. Actually, the world is so much smarter than it was 20, 30 years ago. Computers used to be size of rooms. Now we can fit it on our fingertips. And batteries used to be the size of, now we can put one into a car and it runs for hundreds of miles. So whenever we make something smaller, it gives you ideas to do something new and innovative. Now, what is the case in blockchain? Quite simply, gas fees are killing crypto. They prevent any kind of innovation, any kind of usage, any kind of interoperability as well. And so what people were doing in the last 5 years is that they were taking shortcuts. They were using other systems to prove verify transactions. For example, they were using multi-sigs, which are easily broken. If my password is given to someone can steal the multi-sig and steal all the money. We've seen billions of dollars of loss that way. We've got bridges, crossing bridges using game theory. Again, they've been hacked to death multiple times, hundreds of millions of dollars of loss there as well. So these were ridiculous but necessary solutions, but there was no other way until now. Until now, we have zero knowledge proofs, so we're able to verify things and make things very, very small. Now, what does that allow us to do? Essentially, in the case of blockchain, it allows us to unlock liquidity, because now we can prove transactions in a very efficient way between different blockchains, which were not possible because of gas fees before, because it was extremely expensive to prove anything on Ethereum and a multi-chain transaction compared to on another chain. It just wasn't possible. That's why we took the shortcuts. So now, no more shortcuts. So I think definitely 2023 is a pivotal year for infrastructure in blockchain, where we're able to see some innovation. And in the case of ZKEX, Matt also mentioned some innovation on his side, but ZKEX, we are essentially unlocking liquidity. And so traders can essentially trade easily across chain without needing to compromise internal security. And it unlocks this beautiful usability, and it just allows you to buy a token anywhere using any asset you want. And so that's essentially the killer innovation, which allows. But I'm actually excited to see what else is going to be created as well. So this is the beginning of the innovation of the use cases of ZK. So still, infrastructure needs to build a little bit more, but I'm very excited to see what comes next. Over to Vince.
我觉得这个问题问得非常的好啊，也是非常的不错的。在这里，我也想首先和大家来举一个例子。我觉得其实当我们发现一个行业或者是一个创新，它有一个大的体积变到一个小的体积的时候，就意味着这个行业要带来大量的一个机会了。比方说，可能在几十年前的时候，我们一看到初代的计算机，它可以说要大到覆盖了整个房间，但是现在我们看一般的计算机已经是非常的小的了，甚至更小的一些微型计算机在我们的手指上就能够得到应用。同样的这样的一个用户案例也可以在电池行业得到一个证明。所以我的一个基本观点就是这样的一个观察也可以应用到区块链的行业。当区块链从一个大的一个链到一个越来越走向小的状态过程中，就能够释放很多的一些可能性和一些机会。在过去几年，其实我也发现到，由于高昂的这样的 gas fee， 它基本上是扼杀了加密货币行业的一个创新和发展。它也不利于整个用户体验的提升，更不利于多链的一个互操作性的一个发展。那么在过去5年，其实有很多从业者和一些行业中人，他们就尝试去寻找不同的一些捷径，来尝试来降低这个 gas fee， 包括像他们架很多这样的桥，用这样的黑客技术也好，还是采用不同的这样的零和的一些博弈的这样的一个原理也好，他们尝试着用各种方法来降低这样的一个 gas fee 和长期的一个使用成本，但是最终并没有达到这样的目的。因此我们今天看到所谓的这样的零知识创新技术，它就实现了这一点，它实现了这样的一些把一些大量的一些信息能够进行小规模的一些打包，所以它实现了一个由大到小的创新，也极大的拉低了 gas 费用，也不再让我们的这些从业者需要花5年多的时间去思考究竟要寻找什么样的一些捷径能够达到一个长远的目的。因此我觉得2023年，也就是今年，可以说是整个 ZK 基础设施和整个区块链行业的一个创新的元年。刚刚 Matt 也讲到了这一点啊，我也非常的认可这一点。我们不论是在做这样的跨链多链，不论是对交易者而言还是对用户而言，他们的资产，我重复那句话，它始终掌握在自己的手中，它是一个透明的状态，它也能够开启我们未来 ZK 的一个长远的创新，现在还是一个开始而已。
All right, Balal, thank you so much. Vince, over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I think Matt and Balal have made a very good explanation on why ZK is considered to be a very good scalability solution for blockchains. And also the reason behind that they have explained very well. I just want to add one more thing is that actually ZK is not the only scalable solution for blockchain. When it comes to the scaling blockchains, especially scaling Ethereum, there's a long history of that, right? So there has been many different technologies, many different kinds of trials and experiments on that: state channel, plasma, side chains, and rollups is like most recent and most promising technologies to address to this challenge. Scaling Ethereum is just because that we want to process more data, we want to do more complicated use cases to enable to unlock more real products, user-facing products, and more complicated and useful, helpful products for mass adoption. In terms of like the most recent progress on the scaling solutions, ZK rollup is definitely the most promising. And there's also another mainstream solution called the RoP rollup, optimistic rollups, and there has been also very good progress on that. And the ecosystem of RoP rollups is actually more mature at this moment than ZK. That is mostly because that ZK rollups is much more difficult to build, to design, to build, to implement, to actually code. we have spent the last 2.5 years in coding zkLink. We have done a lot of commits. We have done a lot of codes, crazy amounts of work. And there are also other pioneers in the space doing, zk, other types of zk rollups, doing general purpose generic zk rollups. We're doing application specific rollups for trading products. And there are like other famous projects that I think a lot of users already know. What I'm trying to say is that scaling Ethereum is definitely necessary, and it will continue to evolve, and we'll see more progress in the coming 1 to 2 years. And I personally very bullish on the scaling solutions, because Ethereum has already become the most reliable and the most popular adopted blockchains, and on its way to become the world computer and world ledger. And then the applications will be running on rollup solutions, and then settle transactions, settle funds on Ethereum itself. So at the end of the day, we will have like a stack. Layer 2 is not the end. We'll be looking at the layer 3. I'm not sure if about layer 4, but your layer 3 applications will be on the way. We'll be able to see that happen very soon. Off to the translator. Thank you.
好的，非常感谢您这个问题。其实我们今天所关注的就是 ZK 的一个可扩展性。我们其实知道，我们现在关注这样的以太网的扩展性，并不是说 ZK 是一个唯一的技术，还有很多其他的一些技术应用和实验。我相信大家都知道，要说出来，可能这需要花更多的时间，我就不再赘述了。那么，其实今天我们除了像我们今天所探讨的 ZK 之外，像一些侧链，还有像 rollups 也是我们现在所常用的一些手段和技术之一。其实我们终极的目的啊，就是希望以太网能够去加工和处理更多的数据，能够带来更好的一些用户的案例，能够生成更多的一些 UI 的产品，能够处理更多一些复杂的一些场景。那么现在我们 ZK 是其中的一个选择的方案。跟 ZK 相比，我们还有像 Optimistic Rollup。它其实和 ZK Rollup 相比呢，它的设计难度是没有它的，无论是设计难度，还是说应用的难度，甚至是代码的难度呢 ，ZK Rollup 都要远远的高于 Optimistic Rollup。在过去的2到5年之中，其实我们公司也做了很多相关于 ZK Rollup 的一些代码和一些准备工作。现在其实也有很多这样行业中的一些所谓的引领者和一些创新者，他们也在不断的做 ZK 这个领域的一些应用和一些布局。其实这些所有基于的前提就是我们知道以太坊现在是大家所使用最多、最可靠的一个这样的平台。我也相信在未来1到2年，我还会看到在 ZK 领域更多的一些实验和应用。我对未来的解决方案可以说也是比较乐观的，而且也是比较看好的。我觉得这一块它确实也能够带来更多的一些应用，不管是在 Rollup 上面，还是在 ZK Stack 方面，甚至我现在看到有一些 L3 层的应用已经逐步的浮出水面了，也许在未来还有 L4 的一些应用。
Vince, thank you so much. So on to our next question. This one is also for you 3 gentlemen. ZK brings a lot of possibilities, though like many arenas in crypto, there is a need for some standardization. What is the current state of ZK? Where do you see the limitations with current implementations in this regard? What could be done to improve things? Where could this go in the future? And finally, where is the next big opportunity? We'll have the translator translate this first. Go ahead.
感谢各位啊，刚刚大家已经分享了不少的 ZK 带来的一些未来的可能性，但是我们现在也看到了它和很多加密领域的其他应用类似，我们可能需要面临一个标准化的过程。所以就以这样的一个主题，我想请问各位，现在 ZK 的一个发展现状如何？它有哪一些缺陷？该如何改进？以及下一个大的机遇何在？
Matt, let's start with you again.
Yeah, so while there is a need for standardization, it is going to be a challenge. We have so many innovations coming out all the time in ZK. In particular, we have so many new ways of optimizing ZK and making it more trustless. And the standardization is unfortunately a long way off. However, there will be some standards that will stand the test of time. In particular, Groth 16, the oldest system for ZK snarks, will be around because it is very efficient and very succinct.
非常感谢，我确实觉得我们这个行业呢，未来有这样标准化的一个需求，但是标准化的本身它也是一个巨大的挑战，因为目前 ZK 在经历各种各样的不同类型的创新，我们也在不断的采取更多的方法去优化 ZK 的应用。我们希望 ZK 的未来它能够更好的、更多的去实现一个去信任化的一个过程，一个 trustless 的过程，但是可能说现在是否有成熟的标准出台，这一点可能还有一定的距离吧。我们现在也在使用一些最常见、最成熟的方法，包括像 Groxy 16，这可以说是最便捷、最能够现在我们能够经典的一些方法能够测试的。感谢。
The weaknesses that I see in ZK remain what I have identified with my experience in gas. That is, they are too expensive to verify on the EVM without modification. We're seeing that innovations like Plonky 2 are struggling to find application on the EVM without modification. And so we need to have solutions for this that are future-proof. We need to, these emerging technologies need to find a place in first-class support on blockchains.
同时，我们之前也反复提及了，如果需要去在 EVM 上去证明这样要去证明的话，可以说它的一个 gas 费它实在是太高了。所以现在我们思考就是如何在 EVM 上做相关的一些改良。那么在改良的领域呢，可能 Plonky 2就是我们最常见的一个方法和手段了。这也是我未来觉得需要针对 EVM 做改良，能够降低 gas 费的一个方向。
Back to you, CH. CH, are you there?
Camera is a little off. Okay. Matt, thank you so much. Vince, why don't we go to you next?
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to the standardization of ZK field, there are a lot of work to do, right? So we're still at the very early days in the ZK field. The implementations and the engineering work, the ecosystem development are at the very early stage. There are a lot of different projects working on different parameters and scopes and different implementations, use cases. For example, there are 4 or 5 ZK EVMs working on their own and building their own ecosystem. As I said, this is going to form liquidity fragmentation, which is one part of the reason why we're lineated. And there are some other projects building the decentralized identities using ZK privacy preserving protocols, layer 1s, layer 2s. All different ZK projects now can pretty much working on ourselves, right? Doing our code base ourselves. There's not so much of like collaborations or some sort of standardization that we can all follow with. For example, if it would be difficult to say that one ZK EVM is built in reality, there are some overlaps. There are some codes that are overlapped, and people are of course talking to each other and learning from each other. But yes, the question is about the standardization. There's no standardization yet, and is it needed? Yes, it is needed. And if there's more open source codes, if there are more opcodes already available, it will be greatly benefit what we're building. For example, if the ZK EVM becomes more mature, there will be more opcodes available where we can directly use and develop the features that we need and we want. We wouldn't have to write all the circuits on ourselves. And to a very low level, writing the zero-knowledge circuits takes a lot of time and it's very expensive, time costly, and also very expensive in terms of engineering development. And I think in the next few years, we were gonna have a lot of open source code repositories that we can all use. In terms of standardization, there are some innovations happening in these fields, like shared synchronous. So a few different ZK rollups can share the same sequencer to share the cost, to lower the cost, and to accelerate the implementation of decentralization of the approver network and the sequencers. And this will be very important for the future development of the ecosystem, because ZK rollups nowadays, including OP rollups, are all running on centralized sequencers, and this is not ideal. We need to have a good level of decentralization for that, for the layer 2 networks to be more reliable. And there needs to be some standardization. I think it is going to happen, but it's going to take time. We just don't know how much time it's going to take. And there will be also other standardization needed in terms of like provers, hardware accelerators. There are 4 or 5 different companies that I'm aware of in the field that is working on solutions to accelerate the zero-knowledge proof generation and lower the cost for zero-knowledge proof generation, because it is one of the major cost of running the ZK rollup network. And I'm barely aware of any types or any kind of standardization happening there, but I certainly think there needs to be, so that one company can provide a product that can be used on multiple networks. As a whole, this is gonna reduce the cost or development cost collectively for the industry. But in reality, it's unlikely to happen because, for business, it's always compete with each other, right? They raise funds from different bases. They all want to lead the market. They all want to be the leader. They want to so it's more competitive right now rather than collaborative. But ideally, I think we need some collaborations there to happen as well, so that these hardware companies can build solutions that we can use and others can use as well, but not dedicated to a certain ZK rollup network or just some types of like algo units. Yes, so this off to the translator. Thank you very much.
所以我觉得现在我们肯定是要在标准化的工作上面做一些准备的。不过如刚刚各位所言啊，我们现在 ZK 的应用和所有的这些科技的布局，它都在于一个早期，无论是在具体的一些生态系统的打造方面，还是在前期的一些工程和计算布局方面呢，皆在早期。当然，现在我们也看到了一些关于 ZK EVM 的一些项目，大概会有4到5个左右。我们也看到了有很多这样的DeFi 的一些具体的应用，有的是 L1 层，有的是 L2 层。不过我所关注的就是我们其实无论是在做哪一层的这些 ZK EVM， 它有大量的一些这样的原始代码的一些工作。我们也看到了有一些不同的 EVM 项目中，它的代码甚至是有一些相关，有一些重合。所以我在这里其实呼吁我们未来可能会有一些这样的开源代码的一些准备，这样子的话也能够节约很多我们从头开始去写这种代码的一些成本。当然这点可能需要呼吁我们整个业界能够做一些这样的开源的准备。除此之外呢，可能也会有一些其他的一些相关的一些 ZK 工作方面的一些具体技术的分享，包括像一些 sequence， 还有像一些 optimistic roll up， 在这个领域其实我也觉得可以做一些相关的一些技术和一些其他方面的一些分享和准备。到现在我其实看到了我们在说 ZK 的标准化的过程，它背后还有很多其他的一些标准化的内容，不管说是这种验证者也好，是硬件也好，或者是在整个生态中的加速器也好，我们其实在诸多领域吧都可以做这种标准化的一些工作和准备。因为这些共同的分享知识都可以极大的去降低整个业界的成本。但是可能就是据我现在所知， 在业界尚未有哪家企业他们领先来做了这样的一些分享工作和标准化的准备。不过我们觉得如果这其实可能要业界有某一家公司它能够拿出这种关于产品成本和代码，甚至是不同像我刚刚所说的硬件加速器的标准化的准备是比较难的。大家都知道在一个业界，不同的企业它也是在不同的资本和基金那边拿到了一些这样的投资和一些注资，每个公司都有不同的细分市场，它要去争夺和一些抢夺。那么我所看到的现在的这样的市场，可能是竞争它远远多于我们的合作，所以可能这也是我们需要去呼吁和需要让业界去更好的为标准化能够去铺垫的未来吧。
Vince, thank you so much. Balal, let's kick this to you next.
Thank you so much. It's such an interesting question. What's coming next? What is the big opportunity? And I think we often forget that this field is so new. And literally, I remember last year speaking to some people, some developers, and they said it's impossible for ZK EVM to be built. This is like just over a year ago. And now in 2023, we have several teams delivering this. And it's a kind of ground-shaking news. And I think definitely academia, investors, and builders have all come together, and everyone's building in the open at the moment. And we have this beautiful explosion of innovation and research happening right now, where every single avenue is being explored of how to improve things in different areas. For example, I think innovation in hardware is a big thing right now. That's definitely something that ZKEX is interested in, to reduce costs essentially and make things cheaper. Development tools coming out for developers, so it's a lot easier. Like Vince mentioned this already, so it's, we have some standardization there to kind of how to quickly build ZK circuits. At the moment, it's very rigorous and very tough. And then so we have all this development happening, and then on the mirror side, on the other side, what about the applications? Where is the innovation there? What's the big opportunity in that area? Because if you only build the tools and the shovels and the things like that, and there's no application, that will die eventually. The innovation will stop, the research will stop, the investment will stop. So on the other side, what we are really hoping for in the next year is innovation for business-focused ZK solutions, so people can trade securely online, and it's still kind of regulated and still safe, but it's also private at the same time, and applications within things like social media for consumers, consumer applications. And the really big, juicy target, I think, in that we're looking at maybe a few years away, is number one, government. How do we get government to trust ZK technology and actually apply it to make things more transparent and at the same time private for the citizens and for the government, so that essentially things are a lot cleaner and well operated and a lot smoother? And how do we apply it to the TradFi industry? How do we strengthen the traditional finance industry and make that a lot better? Because there are problems in both those areas. And whether or not they want to change is one thing, but at least we can build some tools that will slowly improve those two areas. So there's massive amounts of innovation still to come, I think. So great question.
非常感谢这个问题问得非常的赞呐。其实我想关注这个问题的下一部分，也就是未来所遇到的一个机遇。早在其实去年的时候，在2022年，当时我和几个开发者在聊天的时候他们觉得 ZK EVM 几乎是一个不可能的未来。但是到了今年2023年，我就看到了好几个这样的研发团队，他们已经公布了自己的一些新的这种技术和他们未来的一些发展的消息了。因此我更关注的就是我们整个大的行业吧，包括无论是投资人、学者、开发者，还是我们真正的从业者，我们都应该去关注未来一些具体的准备工作。比方说在硬件领域，如何将硬件的成本拉低，能够让硬件更好的为整个 ZK EVM 服务。在研发者这一块，我们如何为他们提供更多的一些工具，让这些开发者能够更快捷的去进行各种技术上的准备。同时刚刚呢 Vince 也说到了一些标准的准备工作，包括像 circuit， 包括像一些具体的一些工具，还有像 shards 等等这些都是一些应用层的工具。那么第一步呢是做应用层的创新，之后我希望大家有机会能够谈论商业层的创新，因为商业的本质就是提供给终端用户更好的一些使用方案，比方说他们在网上交易的时候，如何更好的在一个快速高 高效和低成本的环境下进行交易，同时交易的过程中能够比现在的交易能够更好的保护他们的隐私，这都是未来我们要发展的方向。往更长远的路径去探索的时候，我也想鼓励大家关注2大领域。第一大领域呢，就是获得更好的政府的信任。因为 ZK 的这个领域，最终的应用，我们是需要在政府所认可合规的方式下，才能够进行长远的实施和操作的。所以这一点，我们希望能够获得政府的信任，能够在政府层面的业务中也能够进行 ZK 的应用。第二层面呢，就是我们希望能够吸引一些传统的金融行业，他们也能够真正的应用到我们的 ZK 的技术，来帮助现在传统金融行业改变他们一些缓慢和低效的工作模式。感谢。
All right, thank you guys so much. My next question is for Vince. What's on the horizon for zkLink? How do you see your project growing with the industry?
下个问题呢，想问一下 Vince， 您觉得 zkLink 的前景如何？您如何看待项目与行业能够共同成长的这样的一个观点？
Thank you very much for highlighting zkLink here, CH. So we have recently just launched Alpha Mainnet on 9 different networks, including Ethereum and Ethereum rollups. Ethereum rollups, the ones that probably people are already quite familiar with: Arbitrum, Optimism, Consensus Linear, zkSync, and Coinbase Base. And for layer 1s, including Ethereum, BNB, Polygon, Avalanche. And our devs is busily working on the integration with the Starknet. The Starknet is another zkVM, not zkEVM. And apart from connecting to additional layer 2s, we are also adding more features to the platform. Right now, we are supporting the development of perpetual contract trading on ZKEX, and also supporting and doing some internal test of OFT, Mini Fungible Token, for cross-chain bridge called the ZK Jump, using the infra of zkLink. It is a little bit different from the other bridges that we have seen on the markets because it utilizes the infrastructure of zkLink. So it's called ZK Jump. So basically, you can jump from any chain to any chain and any token to any token. So navigate through the complicated ecosystems. If you're not attracted by the applications built atop on zkLink platform, but you would rather go from chain A to chain B, you can use ZK Jump easily. And the third type of product that we're supporting right now is RWAs. So RWAs has been quite a popular topic recently, since there's obviously a lot of capital flowing out of the industry back to the U.S. Treasury, U.S. bonds market. So just simply because that there's more yields, there's higher interest in our markets. And so what if we can bring these types of real world assets on chain, and so regular users and the users will be easily to be able to participate and to buy US Treasury, to buy bonds, to buy US stocks, to buy currencies, to buy gold, to buy commodities using crypto. This will greatly lower the entry barrier for different markets, different asset class. So this is also one of the next steps that we're going to have on our platform. And maybe a few weeks after that, maybe the next few months, we'll very soon have to enable NFT mint and trade on our platform to enable native multi-chain NFT marketplace and NFT assets mint issuance. So this could be particularly interesting for some gaming projects and for some NFT-based projects. And so the way we see that the industry is going is that the layer 2 ecosystems is continue to develop and evolve, and we're seeing the liquidity is moving from layer 1s gradually to the layer 2 ecosystems. So our devs is rolling out a new roadmap. We're going to publish an article very soon describing our next step, which is zkLink V3. So taking where we're today, we call ourselves a layer 2.5 because we're hybrids. We're building on top of layer 1s and layer 2s. So we're posting transaction as proofs to layer 1 and layer 2s. So we're layer 2.5 in that sense. But we're migrating from layer 2.5 to a pure layer 3 platform because this will significantly lower the cost per transaction on our platform, and this will greatly increase the competitive competence of our products, of the products that we support. First, imagine that we can bring down the cost from where it is today, which is roughly $0.005 per transaction, to 5% of what it is today. It will become like a negligible level of cost per transaction, so we can enable massive market making, massive high frequency trading algos and on our platform. And this has to also, in parallel, we have to coordinate with another very important fundamental aspects of the platform, which is the throughput, the performance that we can support. So we're going to continue to build the in-memory matching engine to support the in-memory matching engine and the in-memory pool, web service pool database for the off-chain service to allow 1,000 plus TPS. So that means we can process and settle 1,000 plus transactions per second on chain. And this will greatly increase the capability to process massive transactions and to enable true mass adoption on the products that we support. And plus that if we can lower significantly the cost per transactions, and it will be providing users very, very close user experience to centralized platforms like the ones that you are very familiar with today, Binance, Coinbase, those guys, they run in a centralized service. Imagine you using blockchain tech, you are self-custodial and using ZK technology, and you can have as cheap as a per cost per transaction, and also seamless user experience navigating through different use systems, trading whatever assets you like, you want, and then you are interested in. And
1 second, we'll have the translator translate your thoughts first. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, there's one more thing that I want to add. Yes, please go ahead with translation.
非常感谢能够给 zkLink 这样的高光时刻，让我能够单独讲一下我们公司的产品和现在所关注的一些要点。首先，我们现在已经进行了一个 Alpha 的一个网络的测试。这个测试的过程，我们总共链接了9个这样的网络，就包括在 L1 层像以太网的一些 Roll Up， 还有像 ZK， 还像 Coinbase、zkLink、Albin 等等这些。同时，我们也关注了 L1 层这个 Polygon 等等，但是我们现在更多的呢，就是做了一些这样 ZK Stark 的一些网络的测试和链接工作。我们在测试的过程中，在我们自己的平台上也增加了很多一些新的功能，能够测试出来更多新的一些应用。我们做了这样一个跨桥的一个测试的工作，用的是一个叫做 ZK Jump 的这样的一个新的一个创新点吧。也就是说这种用户他在不同的代币之间，可以在代币之间来进行这样的跳跃和转换，在不同的这种链之间，它也可以进行这样的一些无缝跟顺滑的一些跳跃和一些相关的一个转化。我们还做了一个 WAS， 这是我们的一个新的产品。因为我们现在发现了一个这样的市场的趋势就是大量的一些资本，它已经从我们链上的投资，它重新流入了一些传统的金融产品，像美国的一些国债美国的一些公司债券，甚至是一些传统的一些黄金和等等其他的一些外币的投资都有所增加。因为现在投资人和用户普遍认为，这种传统金融产品可能能为他们带来更高的一些收益，能够产生更多的一些回报。那我们现在的关注点就是如何能够重新将这些资本和一些投资者的眼光吸引到线上的资产上来。要突破这一点的话，这就意味着我们要降低在整个加密货币领域的一些投资门槛，让这些投资者和用户能够在链上也能够针对像黄金、大宗商品等等这样的一些传统的产品能做相关的一些交易和一些投资，同时能够要保证相关的一些安全。那么在几周或者是说长远来看几个月，我们也想更多的去布局像整个 NFT 还有像游戏行业在链上的一些原生态的发展。现在其实大家都在说我们现在整个行业由 L1 层逐步的扩展到了 L2 层，整个生态在不断的演进。我们也会在不久的将来会向大家公开来 来公开我们整个企业的整个路线图，其中也会公布我们的一些发展的一些战略和方向。我们更多的并没有把自己定义为一个 L3层的发展，更多目前呢，我们暂时是把企业定位在这个 L2.5层的发展。那未来随着 L2.5层也会向 L3层来转换，在这个转换的过程中，我们更多的就是关注每一笔交易的成本的一个下降，当然是在一个安全和一个透明的程度上能够进行下降，因为交易成本的本质就意味着企业的一个竞争力的提高。现在我们已经把成本降低到0.005这样的一个水平，一个成本降低，它也就意味着有更多的用户能够在市场上能够进行大规模的使用和大规模的一些应用。我们其实现在在链下也在做一个这样的高通量计算机网络的一个测试，能够把这样的一个 TPS 提高到1000的一个这样的水平，因为 TPS 到1000的话，也就能够帮助用户的更好能够实现大规模的一些应用，能够帮助用户实现一个成本效益的一个增长。我们基本上在做高通量的引擎测试的时候，几乎就是实现了和币安一个非常相似的应用，能够达到一个自托管、自交易，能够让用户自动的在不同的产品服务和链上做这样交易产品的选择。请继续。
Thank you very much. Yes, just one small thing to correct. Actually, we're not doing tests. We actually have launched the Alpha Mainnet, so it is already running on the 9 different blockchains. This is a very small correction, but yeah, mostly the translation is correct. Thank you very much. So one more thing that is to add up to what I've said is the account abstraction. To enable user experience, seamless user experience, this is a very important component of the whole tech stack. So zkLink is still going to integrate with some account abstract wallet to support users to trade crypto assets natively and using your social account, using your phone number, and without having to manage your seed phrase, which is a little bit difficult to understand for users that are not familiar with tech. So this is on our roadmap for the next few months as well. So we're going to enable a wallet and integrating with products like ZKEX, so they will really be able to deliver a seamless user experience, the same level of user experience, as good as decentralized, as good as Binance. And while it is decentralized, while it is self-custodial, while it is secure, and enabled by zero-knowledge technology, enabled by zkLink. Yeah, that is. Thank you.
感谢。刚刚想纠正一个点，就是刚刚在介绍第一部分的一些未来的举措的时候，并不是说现在测试一个 Alpha 的主网，现在已经是落地了，已经开始实施了，和9个区块链有产生了一些连接。那接下来还要补充的呢，就是我们在用户的体验方面，其实 ZK 利用自己的独有技术，已经能为让用户享受更好这样的无缝的链接。用户现在可以用自己的手机和其他的一些现在既有的终端设备就能够去安装我们的钱包，而不像传统意义上要去开一个这样的智能合约。我们这么做也就是希望能够让用户他能够享受和币安和其他的一些传统平台一样的一些良好的服务，能够生成这种自托管、自应用和这种更加便捷的一些用户的产品和服务。感谢。
Vince, thank you so much. Okay, my next question is for Matt. What's on the horizon for GGX? How do you see your project growing with the industry?
那么下个问题呢，是想问 Matt 的，您如何看到 GGX 的前景？您觉得整个企业的前景和整个行业前景又如何？
Yeah, so at GGX, we are excited to expand our support for zero-knowledge verification to recursive zero-knowledge proofs. And these include recursive zero-knowledge proofs that do not require trusted setup. And aside from our zero-knowledge innovations, we have a hybrid virtual machine that allows for both WebAssembly, and the EVM. So one can program in both JavaScript and Rust to compile to WebAssembly and compile Solidity for the EVM. In addition to that, we have support for IBC, the Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol, for communicating between like the Cosmos ecosystem, and we serve as a nexus for the Cosmos ecosystem and Ethereum. In addition to that, we have price feeds that allow for DeFi on top of our zero knowledge innovations, which allow for privacy preserving DeFi as well.
非常感谢。那么在未来的话呢 ，ZKEX 将会持续的支持递归 ZK 的一些应用和相关的一些开发。因为在我方认为啊，递归型的零知识 ZK 的话，它能够免除信任层的一些布局和一些部署，这也是一个创新的方向。同时，现在其实我们在应用一些这样的混合式的一些虚拟机，能够做相关的一些网络的部署，包括像针对这些虚拟机 EVM， 它可以嫁接到这些网络上，能够去整合相关的这些 EVM。此外呢，我们还在做一些 IBC， 也就是区块链间的一些交易的一些信息的互通。现在我们其实已经成为了 Nexus 整个生态系统的一个应用的支撑，包括在以太网上，我们也做了一些 Cosmos 的一些准备工作和一些部署。未来的话，肯定是在 DeFi 领域，我们要思考的就是怎么样在持续的降低这样的一些 gas 的一些费用。
All right, thank you. Matt, if there's nothing else to add, we'll go with our next question, which is for Balal. What's on the horizon for ZKEX? How do you see your project growing within the industry?
最后问题呢是Balal的一样的，也是类似的问题。您企业的前景和与行业如何共同的成长
Thank you for the question. So I think everyone realizes that right now is a dark time for our industry. There's a lot of pessimism, a lot of volatility. However, we do see a lot of lights up ahead at the end of this tunnel. And ZKEX is a team which is executing very, very fast. And we're very excited to have two major announcements. The first one is, I'll keep it a little bit of a secret, but tomorrow afternoon, I would encourage all the viewers to go to either ZKEX social media channels or our website, or go to zkLink website or social media channels, and you'll be surprised with a major announcement that we're doing together as partners. And so you'll be able to try something that's never been done before in the crypto industry. Our long-term vision, I want everyone to really understand, is that we want ZKEX to be a safe space for any kind of trader, whether you're a retail or a beginner or a very experienced professional, a safe space for permissionless, multi-chain, multi-roller, multi-asset trading. So we'll have every kind of product available, and you can trade your own way, whether you're a very conservative trader or a very risky trader. You'll be able to manage your assets the way that you want, essentially. So the second major announcement I want to make is that in October, we'll have a second major announcement as well. And this is when we're going to launch our unified account. Now, to summarize what a unified account is when you are trading crypto, some of your positions are in a profit and some of them are in a loss. And usually on most other DEXs or other exchanges, if this one gets out of control, you may lose the money if you've kind of leveraged too much. And if you're shorting too much, you may get liquidated. However, with a unified account, your profits balance out with your losses. So this essentially gives pro traders and also even retail traders, like I would consider myself to be one, is it gives us the ability to manage our risk a lot better and reduces our risk of liquidation, which allows you to manage your capital a lot better as well and have very diverse strategies and investment strategies. So it's a beautiful feature, not only for retailers, but also for pro traders as well. But like I said, we are on the roadmap, a very fast roadmap to deliver our promises within a few months. And if you want to have a small taste of what we're like, come back tomorrow afternoon and you'll see something special on our website and social media channels.
非常感谢啊！首先，我现在看到了行业中其实有很多这样的波动的情绪和很多这样悲观的情绪。那我想鼓励大家看到的就是长远来看，我更多觉得现在我们是在隧道中已经度过了大部分的黑暗的隧道的段，看到的是最后的这样的一个光明的时刻，所以我还是非常激动的。其实说到我们最新的一些企业的发展的话，我有几个这样的大的消息想和大家公布啊。第一个消息的话，我想先保密，希望大家明天下午如果对我们公司感兴趣的话，可以上我们的官网或者是去我们的社交媒体来看看明天下午我们有什么样的新的一个新闻和动态需要和大家来汇报和沟通。第二点的话，就是其实我们公司 ZKEX 是有一个长远的目标的，我们希望公司长期来说，不管是针对新的投资者人也好，是零售是个人投资者也好，还是对于专业投资人也好，我们能够为他们打造一个完美的安全港。也就是在未来一个多链交易的场景和环境中，不管各位选择什么样的产品，不管大家拥有多少资产，那么大家都是自己持有，自己按照自己的方式能够进行投资。我们会保障所有的保守性的投资人和风险性的投资人以同样的一个方式来保护和管理你们的资产。其实在今年10月份的时候呢，我们会跟公众来公布我们的第二个重大的这样的一个告知吧，我们将会推出自己的统一账户。这个统一账户也就是意味着现在在在加密货币的投资领域，可能一个用户或者是一个投资人，他有不同的户头，有的户头呢是处于一个亏损的状态，有的是处于盈利的状态，或者是有一些投资人他会在多货币和多代币中进行多种投资，有的投资呢可能是营收更好，有的投资呢可能是营收比较差。那么如果说账户太多了，可能这个人管理不过来，所以我们提供的是一个统一的账户，希望能够为所有的用户和投资人提供更好的一个投资战略的保障，所以这也是我们长远的一个发展方向。
Fantastic, Balal. Thank you for that response. Okay, we are down to our last question, which is for everyone on the panel here. Beyond ZK, what's left in crypto to solve for this next cycle of the market? What technology categories will play a key part in Web3? And what should the average token holder be looking out for? Guys, we'll keep this short and punchy for our last one. Matt, let's start with you.
那首先呢，我们是给大家抛最后一个问题了。除了今天大家所讨论的 ZK 之外，在加密货币领域还有哪一些是待解决的问题？以及对于下一个市场周期而言，哪一些技术将在 Web3 中发挥关键作用？作为一个普通的代币持有者，又应该注意哪一些未来发展的方向？请各位能够简短的回答。第一个呢，我们就抛给 Matt。
Yeah.An exciting technology that I see coming along after ZK is fully homomorphic encryption. This allows for you to have private inputs from multiple parties that share a confidential computation that will allow for collaborative DeFi. This is a important technology that I see emerging, something that we are actively exploring at ZKEX. And aside from that, I think that getting back to ZK, we still have to solve the problem of efficiently proving and efficiently moving computation off-chain.
非常感谢。现在我们在探索的呢是一种 Holy 加密的技术，那么这种技术会直接应用于我们未来的一个加密和质性的计算过程中，它也能够去促使合作式的 DeFi 项目的一个开发。此外，在 ZKEX 我们现在在 ZK 零知识领域，其实还在进一步的加深和加强我们在如何提高这样的线下计算转成线上应用过程中的一个这样的 以更高效的方式来证明，这也是我们的一个研究的方向。
Fantastic, Matt. Thank you so much. Next, we will have Vince. Why don't you go next?
Thank you very much. So we're talking about like what kind of types of technologies are in place, but also important to play in a role in the industry apart from ZK. Is that right? Just to confirm.
Yes. What's left to solve in crypto?
There's a lot. Okay. Don't think it's possible to to address to all these problems in crypto. There are a lot of problems still existing in the industry. That is also part of the reason why this industry is so exciting, and there are so many opportunities for builders. So I'm the builder myself. I don't, to be honest, I don't really consider myself to be an expert in ZK, right? So I look into the industry in many different aspects. I think most important now is still how we onboard users, how we build the user-facing products that people really love, people want to use, and people will be very easily be able to learn how to use them. That is the most important problem to me. That is also why we are choosing the approach to build a application-focused, application-specific infrastructure, because we know that a product is needed. That we have been spending way too long and a lot of resources into infras, the endless like the chains, always like people building another chains, infras always being the focus of the industry. And now it's time to focus on products. We need to build products that people love. And on top of that, there's a lot of high level problems on the properties of the products, like security, user experience, accessibility, etc., etc. I'm gonna keep this answer short. Yes, we need product. We need products that people love.
好的，那如果要我简单的回答的话，我觉得这个行业最需要的就是用户喜欢的产品，用户方便使用的产品，以及用户觉得学习起来更加便捷的产品。当然，这个行业其实问题很多，这就意味着这个行业会带来非常多的一些机会，这也是我对这个行业感兴趣的原因啊。当然，我不敢自诩成为一个 ZK 行业的专家，只是我认为长期以来这个行业聚集了太多的关注点，在基础设施方面，我们看到了太多的这样的一层层的链架起来了，但是好像没有这样的一个用户普遍喜欢和最方便应用的产品。所以我觉得如果要谈到高层的问题，可能有很多，像如何解决安全性，如何提高用户的体验，如何去提高用户的可及，但是我终归到一句话，就是我们需要用户喜爱的产品。
Fantastic, Vince. Thank you so much. Next, we'll go with Balal. Please give us your thoughts.
Yeah, great question. I like it. I think, honestly speaking, this year is a year for infrastructure where the foundations of crypto are being remade. I think 2024, like Vince mentioned, will be the year of product, when people are actually using this amazing new infrastructure and building new things that we haven't even thought of. So the pessimism you see about, say, blockchains not having use case yet, it's because the foundations are broken. So let's fix the foundations, then we can make something cool. That's the entire point. And I would definitely think, if you are out there and you're looking at all these projects, focus on the ones that are actually solving problems, which means that there is a lot of pain and suffering and in this industry. So the ones who are bringing relief to other builders or to users are the ones which will succeed in the long term. And quite honestly, a lot of use cases and a lot of the builders right now who are building right now, we're in this explosion of innovation, but we'll have contraction as well later. They won't be around in a year or two. So really focus on the ones which are quite honestly bringing new ideas and new solutions to these problems, this pain and suffering which we're having in this industry. They're the ones who are going to save crypto. If they don't succeed, the crypto will die within a few years, quite honestly. But the good thing is that this is the year when things might actually, we might actually reach the potential of what Web3 could be. So it's a very, very exciting time where we're really in flux, a lot of dark clouds, but at the same time, if these infrastructure projects actually succeed, then we'll have the next bull run, as Omer suggested earlier on in this meet.
非常感谢，我也想呼吁一下刚刚 Vince 的表达。我觉得可以把今年2023年作为是基础设施之年，我们在准备去修修补补这些之前可能不那么完善的一些基石。到了明年2024年，那么可能我们就会拥抱更多的一些优秀的产品。大家一直听到了很多市场的抱怨，大家一开始也不看好这个市场，理由就是大家认为区块链一直只有这个基础啊，没有具体的应用。当然了，因为之前长期以来这个基础都没有打好，所以我们不可能有新的应用。其实我们现在所有做的工作都在去打补丁，希望这个基础能够再夯实一些。这是我第一个方面的观点。第二方面的观点，其实我觉得在我们这个行业，无论是投资人还是说我们的这些开发者，他有不少的痛点，他有比方说这些工具不好用，比方说有很多成本高的问题。那么其实我觉得啊，谁能够解决这种痛点，谁就能够真正的成为一个长期主义的胜利方。只有解决了这些痛点之后，才能够带来更好的一些用户案例，才能够在未来1-2年解决所有这些开发者他们觉得能够束缚手脚的东西。但是反过来看，假如说未来1-2年我们始终是无法解决这些问题，始终让这些开发者受缚的话，那么可能加密货币行业就会面临一些灭顶之灾。现在大家看到都是层层的乌云，似乎看不到出路，但是我希望能够走到最后，走到最好的，能够突破这些乌云，能够拥抱阳光。
Wow, thank you so much. And last but not least, Omer, what are your thoughts?
So, thanks, CH. We are super excited about these 3 projects here that you get to meet. These 3 founders, they're very passionate, 非常热情, about what they're building. And full disclosure again, Matt's project, ZKEX, we are early stage investors in that. Balal's project, ZKEX, RockTree's also an investor. Vince's project, zkLink, we're not an investor, but all of these projects are building authentic technology that Web3 needs. So we don't need to look so far into the future. You're looking at the future with these 3 guys. With Matt's project, ZKEX, they're building for layer 0, layer 1, multi-chain, and you can even say with these scaling solutions, it's layer 2. You have Vincent, he talked about how they're building layer 2, but it's 2.5, and soon we'll be moving up to layer 3. And then what Balal mentioned, which is at the app level, which is super important. Currently, a lot of good infrastructure, excellent infrastructure is being built. However, it's the people who are going to be using it, and that's where we get at the app level, the decentralized app level. So we're super excited about what ZKEX is going to be bringing to the market, because guess what? All the problems that Web3 has been facing, all the issues related to SBF, related to issues with other centralized exchanges, losing custody, is related to issues with either the infrastructure or centralization. And so all 3 of these projects, especially ZKEX, is allowing you to control your own tokens plus your own privacy. And we think that that is the problem that needs to be solved currently for Web3. And all 3 of these gentlemen, founders, are solving it today for you.
那最后呢，我来和大家总结一下。其实我今天看到了3位是非常有激情以及充满热情的创始人。其实我们认识来自 ZKEX 的 Matt 已经很早了，我们做的也是早期投资。之前他们是从 L0 就开始部署，之后到 L1的多链，直到现在 L2，他们在不断的探索这种可拓展性，可以说他们就是覆盖了整个全局。同时，刚刚呢，我们也听到 Vince 也说到过了，他们呢就是现在将自己的定位从 L2 到 L2.5， 未来呢也会扩展到 L3。虽然说我们没有直接投资于他们，但是我也看到了他们对未来这个布局和方向。那 Balal 的话，他也说得非常的清楚，他们通过这种顶层技术的部署，能够真正的去铺垫未来。每当我们在说到未来的时候，其实我看向的不是一个抽象的未来，我看到的就是这3位投资人，因为他们所关注的技术和应用，就是未来发展的一些方向。刚刚 Balal 也说到了，其实他关注的是用户的一些具体的应用，因为其实要用户用起来，才能够真正达到一个好的发展方向。同时，我们今天所谈论在 Web3 的时候， 刚刚也说到过了，刚刚 ZKEX 的创始人也说到过了，我们不管是考虑到一些传统的金融机构，像 SBF 也好，包括像现在所遇到一些问题，像一些这种松软的托管的方式也好，还是说这种传统的中心化也好，那未来我们发展的方向都是希望用户和投资人他能够完全的掌控自己的资产，而且能够以加密的方式和保密的方式，能够了解自己资产的一个动态，这可能就是未来 Web 3.0能够真正的大规模的应用，并且能够为用户增值的一个方向。
Fantastic. Omer, thank you so much for those insights as well. Gentlemen, what a fantastic talk. I just want to say thank you once again to Omer, Matt, Vince, and Balal for your very, very impressive insights and industry knowledge. I really think that the audience, they have a lot more confidence in the future of crypto after this amazing talk. So that about concludes our panel. I really hope all of you can join us again next time for RockTree OG Talk series, which again will be coming very soon. For those of you who are watching the show, if you like RockTree OG Talk series, please follow RockTree's Twitter at RockTree Capital, as well as RockTree WeChat official account 实木资本. That's it from us.
One more thing I just want to add to the group before Eliza, why don't you translate that and then I'll add one more thing.
Sure. Please go on. And
no, you go ahead.
OK，
yeah,
所以刚刚非常感谢各位嘉宾精彩的发言啊，我非常感谢欧阳墨博士，也感谢 Matt、Balal、Vince， 有你们的发言，可以说也为所有的嘉宾和所有的听会观众注入了新的一抹的信心。我们也相信，其实整个 Web 3.0的未来并不是灰暗的，而是充满着光明和希望的。通过今天的发言，如果大家对我们 OG Talk 感兴趣的话呢，我也非常想在这里做个广告，大家可以去关注实木资本的微信公共号，以及关注 RockTree Capital 的整个 Twitter 的号，能够持续的观看我们 OG Talk 相关的一些系列后续的报告。感谢。那最后的话，欧阳墨博士还想补充几点。
好，我要感谢当然我们的客人那个 Matthew Doty ZKEX, Vince zkLink, Balal ZKEX, and also the MCCH for doing such a great job in explaining in simple terms this very complex form of technology. I want to thank you guys for doing a great job in explaining it in a way that people out there can understand it. And also I want to thank the RockTree team and Eliza for 她的翻译，你的翻译非常好，因为我知道 Balal 今天他说的速度非常快 ，Vince 说的速度非常快，我知道这个中文英文翻译非常重要，对吧？但是 Eliza 你做的给的翻译非常好。
Thank you, Eliza.